and welcome to the Stampscapes Lab Live. I have a piece of 4¼ by 5½ inch Deanna Tubb-Sedillo designed background paper. I have two of them here. I'm going to use this one right here. I used the other one in a video from earlier today, and I really love this little composition here. So these moons are really cool, very dramatic pieces, and I don't know, I was probably saving them because I've worked on a lot of her other papers, whatever, in the recent past and before with the first batch that she sent me. But I don't know, it seemed like I kept the moons because I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do with them yet, okay? And with these pieces right here, okay, so this one's, it's really dark around on the perimeter here, so I've probably wondered what I can do in here. So I'm starting to see kind of, some additional types of usages of these types of existing background papers, okay? You kind of get in a little bit of a different kind of mindset when you're starting off with, kind of a resolved background paper like this. And it kind of, I don't know, it stirs up the creativity a little bit. So on this one right here, I was probably wondering, okay, well, where am I going to stamp my objects in here? Because I don't want to stamp out this really cool kind of Milky Way in here. And then of course we have our moon in there. We don't want to just cover it up with a bunch of imagery. So on this one right here, I'm in this mindset of doing some Halloween types of cards. I thought about having this right here as being kind of a slope. And then here's this kind of magical, misty moon, whatever, moon dust or something like that on the horizon, or just some kind of illuminated, moonlit kind of magical haze or something like this. And this would be my slope right here. And I have the perfect stamp, I think, that I can utilize in here, kind of like the Bates Motel type of thing from Psycho, the Alfred Hitchcock one. So there's this church right up here. It's not the Bates Motel, house up here or something like that, but I can put this house up on the top of this slope right here, and we can utilize all of that cool type of patterning in there. And of course, we're not stamping over the top of our moon, so let's give it a try. All right, so matte paper, but it does have this printer's ink on here. So my recommendation on these types of pre-printed papers, be it Tubb-Sedillo background papers, or things like the pre-printed suede or wood grain types of papers, I would recommend going on with a little bit of a thicker ink. Hello, Linda, how are you? Yeah, cranking them out. I've been experimenting with all these things. Hello, Cynthia. So anyways, yeah, a little bit of a thicker ink, like a pigment ink, water-based, hybrid, or something like an oil-based VersaFine Clair, okay? I think those would work better than, say, something like a dye-based ink, okay? You could use a StazOn, I don't think most people would use that, though, for this type of purpose. I tend to use StazOn on surfaces that won't take anything else but something like a solvent, StazOn type of ink, okay? All right, so I'm going to build a little bit of an edge here, a slope for my imagery to come like this, and I'm using the sedge filler like that. Okay, so here's my little hillside here. And let's go with this right here. I'm going to put in some foregrounds. This piece is not resolved in terms of my composition on here. I was kind of contemplating a few things, but I thought, okay, let's just get some things on here. Is that out of focus? Let's get the kind of the foundational images on here first, meaning the land and the main image. Okay, I think this is like the Chapel Small or something. I forgot what I named it. I'll go like this. Now, like I said, these scenes, the the lighting, the patterns, the whatever, the color temperatures and everything like that, they're already established on here, but we can go back in and we can tweak it with transparent media, opaque media, white pigment inks, pastel pens, paint pens, etc. And that's what I'm sure we'll be doing on here. All right, now the other thing I was thinking about doing was I was thinking about adding in like a large tree over here. It would seem kind of strange to do that, but I thought it might be kind of cool, so I'm still contemplating. I'm not exactly sure. I used this one on this one right here, so that was really fun. And what I'm thinking about is, I think it would look better probably just like this, but I've been doing these kind of slopey types of compositions recently on the foils, okay? So I just want something kind of different for the sake of being different here. Which would be some additional framing. All right, so let's see. I think I'm gonna go with the ArtFoamy again here. I need something a little bit bigger here just to kind of frame things off like this. And then we'll put our creepy crawly scenario in between like that. Hello, Jeannie. It's been hard for me to keep up with all the new videos. What you do is you just kind of watch the intro and kind of the initial kind of whatever inclination, and then just skip to the end, you know, and see how it turned out. All the techniques and everything like that. Well, I would say those the two recent holographics, just that level of layering that I did with those ones, that changed things a little bit for me, because I didn't know that I can add the level of shading on top of the Brilliance ink that was laid down, and then just spray sealing kind of was the thing that kind of opened up the doors a little bit for me on that one. Still experimenting though, you know, but using layers with the spray fixative. I've kind of done something like that before. I'm trying to remember what though, but it's like, oh, okay, you know, I mean, we've talked about it before. You know, just using multiple layers of a spray fixative, you know, to lock down whatever the layers in between. So I don't know. That was kind of just reiterated to me in the past couple days with that type of shadow work on top of that foil. I've always been worried about kind of the lifting off of media that's been applied to that type of non-porous paper. So I don't know, but a refining of whatever the process is, you know, in the past couple of days with that. But that being said, you can just skip to the end of it now that I've kind of explained it. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? Oh, thanks, Bonnie. Okay, so we have some framing right here, and we'll have like our little entryway in here, and that looks pretty cool there, you know, instead of that. So that, I think that turned from like the Milky Way. It could still be the Milky Way, but now it looks like clouds to me in relation to the slope here. Okay, so these background papers, you know, we know they're already really cool from Deanna, but they're really quite versatile, even with, you know, some really kind of very definitive objects and you know, areas just inherent in those backgrounds there. You can kind of you know, tweak them. The other thing that I did, I don't know, a couple days ago, I don't know when it was just lay down that white pigment ink over darker areas on this paper. You know, if you need some illumination, I'm going to stamp something in there that I need lighter than what this paper already kind of provides. So you can just kind of lighten up wherever you want in here to stamp an object in there and for it to show up, you know, with no problem. And that's where this kind of matte paper really comes into play. It's, I don't know, it's, they're easier to use in a wider variety of compositions than I probably would have thought. Okay, and I think it has to do with, you know, we're typically working on things like foils or glossy cardstock, stuff like that. But I don't know, this being on the mat, it seems to, you know, it's opened up to more potential media that can be applied on here, or soft media types of things. And that's one of those reasons why I kind of started playing around with more of the semi-gloss papers over the last few years, you know, as opposed to the glossy. Although when I use the glossy, it's like super fun. But I don't know, I can just kind of manipulate things a little bit more with, you know, the more matte it is, I guess. Of course, it doesn't look glossy, you know, that's, you know, a super dynamic surface that's really eye-catching. But as far as kind of like playing around with your pieces and the process, I don't know, it might be more fun just having more kind of media open to us. Okay, I'm blabbing away. Let's see. I miss out on something. Face. Speed watch it. Put it on, you know how you can watch videos, YouTube videos. You go into that setting thing, and I think you can watch it. You can speed it up to like 2 times or something like that. So my slow delivery will be kind of more like at regular speed then. Okay, so we have our framing here, and we have all this lighting, of course, going right through this trunk here. So we'll make that trunk. We'll pull that out from the background a little bit by probably darkening in some of the area in here. And maybe we'll even light up the edge here a lot more by just simply masking this off and using some white pigment ink or something like that in there. But let's do some of the objects in this area first, or I don't know, maybe I should do the lighting first. Well, let's go with this. Let's add in some tombstones. I've been doing this kind of this, you know, whatever boot hill type of scenario on a lot of these videos over the past few days. I think it's also too, you know, once kind of Halloween's over, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like stamping out a bunch of like cemeteries after that for a while, probably. Because it's like making up for lost time or something like that here with a bunch of vids. Let's do a little masking here. The cemetery's been busy over the years, I think. You make them kind of a little bit more kind of packed and crowded, and it has that kind of that, I don't know, that funky kind of feel, you know, to have, you know, like overcrowding. All right, let's see. These, I need to leave room in here. I wanted to have like a zombie kind of walking up the hill or something like that right in here. So that's one thing that you really want to consider when you're doing your cemetery scenes, is leave room for the dead. All right, let's see. Let's do this. I'm putting this one up a little bit higher than this one. The higher up in a composition you go, usually it represents um, distance, or more distant object. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. I think this one. I need to do that more of that zombie apocalypse type of thing. I only tried it like once or twice, but those pieces that what Raymond did were really cool. I didn't quite get it though. You know what I mean? His had there was someone that is on the Facebook. Well, he's on Instagram and stuff like that too. But he used these two zombies and he stamped them out like, I don't know, 10, 12 times each or something like that. And it just made like a, gigantic zombie horde. And I didn't quite get it. He had this kind of this fluidness to it, the way he stamped everything out. And I don't know, I probably I need to free up with my zombie application or something like that. All right, let's see. These are some more tombstones right here. Let's go to some more distant ones like this. I should have some kind of on the other side of that too, maybe. Yeah. How many large pieces have you done? Let's see, Linda, you had that big scene, right, that you did? All right, let's see. Go like this. I haven't done any like monster maps so far. I've been mostly like doing kind of like faster scenes. But I really want to do a monster map because I haven't been able to really like incorporate like a ton of these Halloween designs into one, one piece or I don't know, whatever. I want to combine, I don't know, like say, at least maybe 15 of these images into one scene sometime. And the monster maps would seem to be the way to go. Okay, so I got a couple little tombstones right up there, like that. I think that'll do it with the stones. Let's get maybe a couple of or one or two of the crosses in there. This. We have a cemetery out in our front lawn. I've been putting it up for, oh, I don't know. It's probably been 15 years or something like that. It kind of got smaller. It got a little bit smaller and smaller because my son, was like super into like Halloween types of stuff. And then he's got older, you know what I mean? It's like losing a little bit of interest, but it's like, we'll still kind of put up the cemetery. It's kind of a tradition in our neighborhood, I guess. But I can get that cemetery kind of put up with including lights and everything like that. And like, I don't know, it takes me like 20 minutes now. All right, so anyways, there's our kind of scenario right there. We need something in front of that moon though, huh? Maybe some bats or something like that. Yeah. Let's see. I'm lacking in designing my own compositions lately. I'll have to start watching your videos. It's hard to believe, Linda. All you need to do is, do you still have your like your monster maps? So you probably have all your monster maps from previous, or from, what is it? We did those last year, right? The monster maps, if anyone's kind of watching, we did these like double page spread, like 11 by 17 compositions of all these kind of like little monster groupings, like as if it were like a monster amusement park or something like that. And here's a map for them, or for the park. So you can see, like, here's a cave over here, and here's like a haunted house, you know what I mean, or whatever. Here's a haunted lake down here, or something like that. So we didn't abide by things like traditional depth, larger things in the foreground, more distant things up higher, that type of thing. So it was kind of like, it was an exercise of, we were kind of able to kind of rid ourselves of perspective and size relationships, all that. It was kind of liberating too, and it was really fun to do. And I know you can see those. You can see those on the Facebook group, or I don't know, if, Linda, if you posted those to your Flickr group. It's on my Flickr page too. I think I posted those. I Okay, so anyways, I'm kind of blabbing on right here. I'm kind of thinking about if I want anything else here on the horizon. I'm trying to think of other things, but maybe I can put like, I might be able to put like a tree or something like that over in the background there. I kind of want to break up the slope a little bit with something more than just this figure. I think I have one of my kind of that world travels sets. I have this tree in there that's kind of somewhat airy. I have so many new stamp sets. Was it on this one? No, it's on, here we go, right here. Let's go with this little tree like this. And I think I want to put that like right in there, and then maybe over here again. It's one of those stamps that's, I think it's solid enough to stand up against like a really patterned background like that. If it's too kind of bony an area, it might not stand out enough, but I think it's still see-through enough where it's not just going to be this big, obscuring shape that's covering up, the things that are going on behind it. Now, test it like that. And let's put this right down here. Think about like so. Does anyone have a favorite scene that you've any of you worked on recently? Or does anyone think about that? A lot of times for me, my favorite scene that recent scenes that I've done, a lot of times it's like the one that I just worked on, whatever that one is, I think a lot of people liked my, what was that, Seaside Cove, Autumn Cove or something like that, close to the full page one. That one spawned like some really awesome versions of it, the base compositions, and those ones have been like super cool to see. All right, so we have these trees right in here. I thought it kind of needed that, to have these trees in the background, because we have these trees right here. So it kind of brings in this type of, object into the background, okay? If these were like pine, like pine trees, pine boughs or something like that, then I'd put like pine trees in the background there instead. Okay. But this one, with these hanging leaves, it's probably a little bit more deciduous, so that's where these ones come in handy here. Okay, let's do this right here. Let's get a little bit of lighting onto this side of this tree next to this moon. And this is where we're kind of altering the existing kind of lighting scheme of this background paper. Or we're not altering it, we're kind of tweaking it. So I'm going to bring some of this. We'll also do this with like white charcoal pencils, or a pencil, and that should do it as well, or assist in this. So I'm getting the side of the tree that's facing the Moonlight, like that, okay. Now that kind of fuzzed out all of the detail on here, but then we can just go back in and I can use a colored pencil to redefine that. So I'm kind of obscuring, the forms and all the detail that are, just inherently, in this stamp. This is the wooden one, not the ArtFoamy one, but, that's where that colored pencil, can come into play here. Now see this right here, if this was a tree right here, see this background right here just goes all into shadow, and because it's just an existing background paper, it gets dark in here. But this tree right here, it would probably be defined a little bit by the moonlight if this was kind of a real kind of lighting situation here. So we're just going to go on this one like this, but on the left side of this tree to the right of the moon, on this one right here, tree to the left of the moon was right side illuminated. This one over here is left side illuminated. So we'll do some of that. And don't put on too much, or if you do, just kind of wipe it off a little bit. But see that right there? So I'm getting that kind of that shape out of the background a little bit more like that. I think that's all I'm going to do with that. And then we'll come back to this later, but we'll go into the piece with a little bit more of the white charcoal pencil, I think. Okay. I don't know how this is going to apply over the top of the brilliance. Maybe I should heat set it a little bit. Okay. I posted 3 Halloween scenes. I will check that out. Wait, when did you post them, Jeannie? I was on there earlier today. Or did you post them when you got back home or something? All right, so see this right here, just kind of going up the, this pencil isn't applying very well to the white pigment ink that's been laid down. I think the white pigment ink got rid of some of the texture of the paper. It sealed it off a little bit, so this pastel pencil isn't grabbing onto it as much. I might be able to spray seal this, because that spray fixative is a little bit textured. So it might give this a little bit of a matte texture, and then it might, I might be able to use some of this white pastel over the top of that, believe it or not. So I can always do that, but I don't really know if I need to. Let's see how things go right here. All right. Okay, now let's go into that with our black pencil. I'm saying hesitating there because I'm wondering if I should go in here with some lighting. Let me do this one at a time here. I'll not that that's necessarily how you should work, but let's go add, just while we're on this pencil right here, I'll show you what I'm going to do with this in here. Now this area in here, I'll utilize that for some shading in here, but let's bring out some additional lighting from the moon in certain areas, okay? I won't do too much because, I don't want to just completely reinterpret, this entire slope here away from, Deanna's background, We want to kind of, utilize it and kind of harmonize with it. But let's see, right in here, I think that could use a little bit more lighting like that. Like this. When we spray seal this, it'll probably get a little bit more transparent. So if you add some of this down and it looks like it's a little bit too light, I would just leave it there and then spray seal it because it's going to get a little bit darker when you spray seal. You posted them. I got to go back on there. Yeah, I was on there just kind of briefly. But yeah, Halloween fun. Okay, here's the white. I mean the black colored pencil. It's just a Prismacolor, and we'll go back in and kind of redefine some of those darker areas of the tree. Everything gets really soft looking and muddled. Okay, but you get the benefit of the light in there, but just come back in here and add the crisp, I don't know, whatever shadow areas or definition back into it with black again. And then if you want to, you might be able to go through over it a little bit more with white over the top of it. That chalk's not, that pastel's probably not going to stick to waxy colored pencil markings very well, but you might be able to get a little bit on there. See this right here, we added that kind of that lighting on the side of this tree. So let's do some shading on the opposite side. Like that, maybe. Looks a little bit more three-dimensional, huh? After doing that. Adding this kind of back in here. All right, let's add some shadows from that really light moon here. Let's see. Now this is the part that I really enjoyed adding into those foil pieces, those holographic foils. I laid down the white as a base layer, then I put my tombstones over the top of it, but then with a cotton ball using black pigment ink, I just kind of dabbed some shadow kind of tones at the base of the tombstones, and it really kind of, resolved a lot of the issues with that type of paper for me, because it anchored all the scenes down onto this paper and it gave it lighting and everything like that. Okay, and that's what we're doing here. Jeannie's like been stamping like at work. All right, anchoring down whatever the Bates house. Not the Bates Motel, but the house maybe. That's what that's supposed to be. Give you the feel of if you just joined in. It's kind of this house up on the hill type of scenario. All right, and let's see. Here's this zombie character kind of casting a shadow as well, like that, and I darken it in like so. But see those kind of elongated shadows like that. All right, let's go for a little bit of extra texture in this area. That cross right there looks like it's supposed to be it's connected to a shadow, but it's not. It's a cross. Okay. The tiny rocks small. This might be my most useful. I'm finding this to be my most useful stamp of late. It's just like some rocks like that, but see that I use it kind of as shadow textures, but it kind of unifies everything really well in just a variety of different scenarios. Beach, whatever, in grasses, in water even. I use it all the time. I trash mine after a short struggle. Now, when do you run into struggles, Jeannie? Like, because all of your pieces are like, I don't know, what percentage of them are full-size sheets? to non-full size sheets. I don't know. You do more full size pieces and big pieces than you do. Do you work in? I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it's just in my mind, but I'm trying to remember like some quarter pages that you've done. So if I don't know, unless you're tossing like you don't toss like if you're like midway through something, do you? Because those larger pieces, I mean, they require a lot more of you know, just the imagery and composition building. All right, let's see. I was gonna add in, yeah, here. Let's add in this foreground. Should I stick with the foamies here? Okay, let's go big here. The reeds here, the smaller reeds would be fine too, but this one's like a little bit bigger, so we'll kind of push depth a little bit more in here. Okay. If you just joined in, the background was one of Deanna Tubb-Sedillo background papers. Another one of her cool moon kind of celestial pieces. And they really make for some quick, potentially quick scenes here. Definitely quicker than, you know, faster than if I were to do a background like that, you know. Well, I like that they're done for me. Sometimes, you know, or a lot of times if there's like, you know, you don't have like too much time to stamp or something like that. Or you just want to get through a bunch of different compositional scenarios and you just assume have the background kind of already complete, which is like the, which is what those holographics are too. All right, so see this, like different types of grass. It has a different feel to it, I think. Put that in there, like so. Let's say, hello, Christine. Just got home from work. Yeah, well, this one's coming around pretty fast here, Christine. So this one's, we're at the 37-minute mark right here, but we started with the Tubb-Sedillo background paper in here, which was the Milky Way and Moon piece right there. Stamped in our imagery right in here and just kind of split that Milky Way in half to be, I don't know, maybe like background clouds or something like that is what it can represent. Okay, so let's see. Let's go over to the highlighting. I'm really loving adding the highlighting on things like moonlit objects or tombstones. And on the foils, boy, it really kind of resolved a lot of the issues like right in here. I mean, this looks, it has a certain type of mood to it, but when I put on those little highlights onto the objects, I thought it kind of brought it to life a lot more. Like, especially with these objects right here. They're kind of really muted in the background like that. So just adding in this texture and lighting, I usually start it in my lighter areas like this, just to kind of get my mindset on highlighting, you know, without it really showing up very well. So I'm just kind of adding in this, I don't know, kind of illumination onto the surface like that. Okay, so here's this kind of light coming through here like that. And then let's go on to some of the objects. So opposite of shading, we're adding highlight on the sides of the objects facing our light source. Here, let's go like this, and this moon, I have to kind of decide where it's where the highlighting is going to be when the moon is like right above that like that. Okay, so see these right here. I'm just going for these lines. I don't try to outline like this and go over it like that. I mean, I could, but I try to keep the motion kind of faster so I get kind of more of a gestural mark. Okay. So we'll go like this. And we'll bust out those new paint pens here before too long. I got these brush markers. But I want to test them out, though, before I do it in a video, because I haven't used those ones at all. Okay, so let's see here, like this. I'm kind of adding a little bit just kind of around this whole perimeter first, like that, just so it kind of everything goes on even. So I'm not just like working each one of these in this little space and then moving over here and doing all of it. I kind of want all this to kind of somewhat come into focus all at the same time, because if I start doing my highlighting, you know, on all of these objects over here on each side, sometimes by the time I get over here, I'm kind of working with a different kind of gesture, and it doesn't look as kind of cohesive. So that's, I don't know, that's the theory, at least, with that. Okay, so see that right there? And I'll work on this more over here on that tree, but we'll come over here like this and add some of that lighting onto that, like so. Okay. We'll go with a little bit of line and tone, maybe. You put some on some leaves. It's like a reflective light or something like that on some dew or something. And this is adding in some crisp lighting, where we use the pastel pencil to get kind of this smoother, real soft lighting. So this can be a nice, you know, potential complement to a very diffused softness. You can go and add like a really defined, crisp texture. So you really kind of expand your textural range with highlights like this, with paint pens or other types of things too. If anyone's good at using like brushes or something like that, you can use, you know, white acrylic paints or something like that, and you can really get super gestural with a brush. All right, something like that right there. Everything is looking really quite uniform in terms of the color scheme. So it's color scheme of blue, right? And the tones are all basically the same. So what I'm getting right here is, I think it might be fun to illuminate from the interior our windows in a warm toned color here, just for a little bit of a change of temperature. Or, you know, we can expand our temperature range of this piece, you know, in a very small way here. With this lighting like this, it's like a warm light. When you shake it up a little bit more, it might get a little bit more opaque here. That's going yellow over that really dark blue in the background. I might need to hit it with a lighter yellow for it to show up, so there's a little bit more contrast. So there's those lights right there, and let's go into that really small window right up here. I don't know if this one's a little bit too like a day glow yellow or something like that. Looks okay. I'll put a little bit of that in here too. Something like that. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. So if those windows are up there, maybe some of that light is kind of reflecting down here as well. That's a little bit greenish. Let me go back to this one right here and just add a couple little dots of this. Maybe that a little bit of a yellow colored pencil in there might be kind of good. Or instead of, if I go over that with yellow though, it might look kind of greenish, so I'm not sure. All right, so that I put a little warm tone right there. It's not, these windows aren't supposed to be like super bright, so I don't have it like really light down here. If this was like on the edge of a lake though, I would probably do like a reflection, like that strength of it right in here. But this is like supposed to be like, you know, like whatever, dirt or, you know, grasses or something like that. So it wouldn't be as reflective of that strength of lighting in there, yellow. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Caroline. All right, so almost done here. Let's go back to white brilliance here and add in that extra atmosphere. It's kind of nice adding this in here after working on those foils the past couple days, because I couldn't tap it too much because on those foils I was kind of just spray sealing lightly, you know, in between coats. I was applying more media, but I didn't apply it too thick, my spray sealant, so if I tapped down a little bit too much, it was in danger, I thought, of lifting off some of the ink that had been applied to it. Not on this piece, but on those foil pieces. Holographic foils from the past couple nights. All right, so we have this mist coming in. Look how much that changes that area right in there, that whole feel and that whole lighting right in there. I like to do some of this pigmenting at the base of my characters, be it people or animals. Okay, here's my houses or cabins, structures. It looks good with a little bit kind of like at the base of it too. It kind of gives the illusion of this fog that's kind of creeping in and it's going along the surface, you know, or hovering, you know, just off the surface a little bit. I gotta be careful that I don't add too much, you know, maybe, so that we have some contrast to, you know, for that fog to stand out more. If you put it all foggy, it might have a certain type of look to it, but, you know, it's not gonna look as extreme because we won't have any crisp objects in there anymore. Everything is just going to be like under a blanket of fog. And again, you know, that might look kind of cool for a certain type of look. All right, so see this right down here. It's kind of putting this tree nestled in a little bit of fog or something like that, or lighting. And maybe I'll leave this one just as is, so it looks a little bit different from one another, but they're still kind of serving the same purpose of framing off the composition. All right, so let's see, I think that's enough. Like I said, sometimes I go a little bit overboard with this, which is good to do. So you have a kind of a better kind of idea of how much to what your preferences in terms of additions go. And let's see. I need something in front of that moon, I think. I might just add in a few of these bats here. I'm just going to color up some of these. I don't want this big, you know, amount of them like that. So let's just go with, I was wondering, it might be easier to color this with a pen. I don't have a black, like, pen, like a thick ink pen. Let me just do this right here. All right, however many there are, that's what we're going with. Okay, it's a strip like that. I'm trying to think if I want to reiterate that slope by putting these at an angle. I don't think I do. I think I want to have it just straight across like this. I didn't want the whole scene to look like it's kind of tilting. Let's go like that. I think that kind of filled it in pretty well with some additional. It kind of looks like just almost like more like just a bunch of texture, but you know, but it's bats. All right, another whatever Stampscapes or Kevin Deanna Tubb-Sedillo collaboration. Piece here for a quick card, semi-quick card. I don't know. I guess it wasn't that quick. It's almost an hour, but I don't know. You know, you can create some pretty dynamic surfaces by having them already kind of the background, like half the work done already. Right here, I don't need to see that at an angle. There's no glare on it, but anyway. Two pieces down. You can put some stars up here. See, this one's right. This one right here has those little twinkly stars right here, right down in this area. So there's another moon. Tubb-Sedillo moon right here. This one's like really dramatic right here. I got to think about what I want to do with this one. I can't remember if Deanna's used this one yet. She's been posting some of her Halloween pieces using these backgrounds, and I thought I saw a really gigantic moon from something on one of her, I don't know, recent pieces. Might have been from like today or yesterday or something like that. But I know it was a big moon, so really cool things. I think she had like a church or something like that right in front of one or something like that. I don't remember, but I'll need to go back and I'll see it again when I log on to Facebook. If anyone's on Facebook or, you know, thinking about joining in or something like that, join the Stampscapes 2 Facebook. I think it's called the group. And you can see Jeannie's 3 scenes that she posted today. Everyone else's, you know, scenes that they've posted. It's always fun stuff to see what everyone's doing in various techniques and various types of surfaces. We see all kinds of different media being used, and certainly the handling of even the same media looks, you know, oftentimes so much different. Color schemes, it's really amazing seeing all those types of things done. But this piece right here kind of reminds me of like that E.T. or something like that, where those fingers, you know, are about to touch right there. Yeah. But anyway. I really like this one because I haven't done that before. And I did that because I was working around that star right there. That's also in the background paper. So I thought, okay, I don't want to eradicate that star because it looks really cool. And I've been meaning to do this kind of meeting of the, I don't know, whatever, snails or something like that scene. As I've done one of those types of things, like, I don't know, it must be like 20 years ago or something like that. I don't know. I've been wanting to do that since. Someone was bringing up something too, and we were talking about using some kind of media to do like this snail trail. I wouldn't do it on this one right here, but I want to do that snail trail type of thing, you know, and have this silver kind of trail going from, you know, these types of objects in there. So, I don't know, glitter or wink of Stella pens or something like that might be kind of interesting. And if we started off with a, I don't know, if we started off with the metallic, maybe it would kind of harmonize more with the background or something like that. But Then again, maybe we want, if we're doing like a snail trail that's kind of like shimmery or something like that in the moonlight, maybe we would want it to stand out more, where we wouldn't want other types of metallic types of effects in there. I'm not sure. We'll have to play around with that a little bit, but I want to do something like that before too long. So might have to bust out some of those other types of things too, like old stickles, you know, things, and see if it's those, you know, types of things haven't dried out yet. But yeah, glitter and shimmer in the moonlight. All right. So anyway, where does the background paper come from? Who makes that background paper for Deanna? I usually just say I go over to the Deanna Tubb-Sedillo YouTube channel, and she's probably got some information on there. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's I don't know. Someone's got to know that right in here somewhere, right? A bunch of you bought some of those papers too, right? I can't remember because Deanna sent these out to me. And it doesn't say on the back too because they're stampable like that. So anyway, I think she has, I don't know how many sets she has at this point in time. There's like 3 or 4, I think, because she came out with some more recently. Blue Night Stamped. Yeah. Thanks, Cynthia. So yeah, check those out. Fun stuff. And, you know, certainly makes for some quick types of scenarios. I really like this one right here. This is a background paper right here. So with all that different types of temperature kind of changes in here and the lightning coming out of there. Oh yeah, that's right. I did another lightning one of hers somewhere. I don't know. It's in one of my piles around here somewhere, but yeah, it's like, you know, that cool little, you know, paper like that. And I think you get, I don't know, how many do you get? Like 20 of them, and there's something like 5 different patterns with 4 each, or I don't know, it's something like that in there. But yeah, you can use any type of media on there. But again, what I'd recommend is a little bit of a thicker ink, you know, so you know, VersaFine Clair, you know, pigments or something like that. And I think those ones will best serve you. And then, I don't know, and then if you have like pastel pencils, I find that really helpful. White pigment ink for sure, and just your black colored pencil on these pieces. And they work really fantastic with these papers. Probably a bunch of other things too, I don't know. I haven't tried things like alcohol inks on them, but I'm sure it would work fine. You know, they're transparent, so if I used alcohol on this one, I don't know how much I'm, you know, really kind of changing down here because this is already dark. And putting dark on dark, it might get a little bit darker, but it's not going to get lighter, so that's where the white pigment ink comes into play. But you can really do that kind of circular process on here. You can add some white on there. You can go over it with the black and add white back over that again. To some degree, you can build up things like your dry media, like colored pencils and pastels on there. And I get stuff that I don't like all the time when I'm doing these multiple tones on here, because I'm talking about not permanently, but in the process, like adding, you know, that white pastel pencil, I lose a lot of like the detail and crispness, but that's where you just go back into it and reclaim it with the black like that. So I love that ability to, I love flexible surfaces like that. So while we're set with you know, the really large types of objects that are in these pieces, this whole area out here, you know, you don't have to see it as so fixed in its value darkness or something like that, because you can manipulate it a little bit, you know, with those other types of media like the white pigment inks and the white pastels and acrylic pens and stuff like that. So that's why I'm blabbing on here, but that's what I'm still kind of getting used to myself. So, you know, I'm kind of having to think about all these different types of things when I'm working on these pieces right here. So, and whatever, they're kind of revealing themselves to me with each one of these pieces that I work on. So anyway. All right, folks. Hope you have a great rest of evening. Thanks for checking out the I don't know. Anyone have a name for this one right here? I'm coming up with the same kind of names over and over again. It occurred to me that I think I've named like a lot of my pieces. Like there's 4 of the same, you know, pieces with the same title, but I think at this point in time, I don't know, there's like thousands of videos uploaded, so I don't know. Might be running out of kind of unique titles for these pieces or something like that. I don't know. Heading home. Or I don't know, whatever. Bill and the Bats. Not really. Okay. Thanks for checking out the scene. Have a great rest of evening. Hope to see you on the next live or on Facebook or whatever. If you join in, and if you feel inclined, we'd love to see all of your work up there too. So, and it's a great little community and a lot of fun too, seeing everyone's pieces. And I don't know, seeing the evolution of pieces too and new techniques. It's always really cool. All right, folks. See you in the next live.